So about this time next week, myself and every other Washington Commanders content creator will be doing some form of their post-game reaction to week 1 of the Washington Commanders season. And I had to go grab one of my dearest friends, one of the heaviest hitters in the Washington Commanders community, to take one last final stroll of a preview before it goes down. Let's get straight to it.
How I feel? Blessed. What I want?
Get back slow. I love the way she rock it. I love the way she move it, shake it on me. When she cry for him, the shawty is the winner. You can tell that shawty's love again now. She's confident. I love the way she move.
YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here. We have the Washington Commanders live stream. And in today's live stream, I have a dear friend of mine to my right, Rio Robinson, stopping by to give his thoughts on the Washington Commanders. Rio, thank you for joining me. How you doing tonight?
What's going on, man? How you feeling? We are a week away from Washington Commanders football, man. I'm ready. How about yourself?
Yeah, man, I'm doing well. I'm happy. I'm excited for this team. Like I just said a couple minutes ago, once that September date hits, it's like, oh, man, can this week, because, every single year, this is the week where we have to just slowly just sleep. I don't know, do whatever we can. Yeah. This final week is always the hardest. But when September, that kind of returns, it's like it's really go time. But I'm doing myself a favor this year by trying to get deeper into college football. And I'll be honest with you, yesterday helped me a lot because there was a lot of great action across the nation. And I'm trying to get big into it. So this has helped me prepare for this week. But Rio, man, just talk to me about your excitement level for not just this season, but specifically week 1, finally getting to see the boys again. Just talk to me about how excited you are personally.
Hell yeah. First things first, it's been too long, man. I'm glad we finally linked up again on the channel. Second thing, bro, we have a goddamn quarterback. We have a quarterback. Play the Ron Rivera clip one more time. Quarterback. We have a quarterback to be excited about. The aura and excitement around Jayden Daniels, I'm too excited about that for one. For two, we got a clean slate as an organization. As fans, we need to give them the benefit of the doubt this year. We cleaned out the ownership. We cleaned out the front office for the most part. The Martys are still hanging around the building and taking out the trash for our GM. But the roster, for the most part, has been flipped. It's been flipped on its head. We have new everything, 30 new players, 12, 13 new starters. What better time and what more exciting time have we had to look for in our lives as Commanders fans? Because we ain't seen much success here.
Yeah, man. I mean, I definitely agree with you. Again, I'm a little bit younger than you, but you yourself has always shared how you haven't really seen the glory days. So you know dang well I ain't seen no success. So the most feeling that I could say closest to this obviously would be 2012 because of the rookie quarterback. But for me personally, that 20 man, I'm telling you, I mean, I still remember that. I still remember certain games from that vividly. The Vikings 76-yard run from RG3 down the sideline. I remember watching it. My dad was getting a haircut. That Ravens game, that comeback with Kirk Cousins coming in. So many great moments from that season specifically where we just thought, man, we finally got us one. And then obviously we know how that spiraled into Kirk Cousins.
It was so much fun, though. It was so much fun in the moment, though, right? Don't you try to relive that year and bottle it up and let it stick with you forever?
Yeah, man, definitely. Because I was a kid. Like I was about like 9, 8, 7, one of around there. But that was like 2010 was like the year I started to grasp and understand the knowledge of football. Like 2010. Yep. So 2012 was one of the first years where I finally seen some quite bit of success in a sense. And as a kid, you can only imagine how that felt. And I look back on that time and was like, okay, what if I was 21 during that time? How would I react? Then back in 2012, I'd probably be off the chain. I don't know. So that's why I'm just kind of preparing myself. Right. So that's why I just try to prepare myself for adulthood as a Washington Commanders fan, because I'm hoping that it ain't gonna be as stressful as a kid. Because man, I tell you how many times I didn't cry about this team, literal tears about this team. I'm hoping that those days are over. But to go from the darkest days of no quarterback to finally feeling like we got one. We've had feeling of this before. Maybe not quite the number 2 overall pick Heisman Trophy winner, but there was some people like myself who I bought into the Sam Howell hype. I still think Sam Howell is a really good quarterback.
We all sold ourselves a dream with Sam, though.
Yeah. I'm being honest with you, man. I genuinely think he's a good quarterback. I give it a year or two before he starts in Seattle. I think he's good. I do. I really wasn't. I was on the fence about the Carson Wentz thing, but I tried to buy into that hype. Never really bought into the Ryan Fitzpatrick hype. Tried to buy into the Dwayne Haskins hype because another first-round pick quarterback. List goes on and on about these quarterbacks.
Nasty list of quarterbacks, man. Such a nasty list.
Yeah,
man. It's been some tough times being a young fan here.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to hint at earlier, like the last time that I genuinely felt good about consistent winning, and this is maybe crazy to some of y'all, but that 2015 to 2016 year, like the 15 year where we should have beat the Packers, it's crazy. The 2 times we made it to the playoffs in my lifetime, really 3, but I didn't experience that 05 year. I was like 2 years old. So the 2 times that we made it to the playoffs, we probably should have won. But the 2015 year with Kirk Cousins, Deshaun Jackson, Pierre Garçon, all those guys, and that 2016 stretch, for a minute, I felt like it was potential consistent winning. However, there were still certain things on the defensive side of the ball and coaching staff issues that we had that, hindered that. And obviously Kirk Cousins leaving stopped that and put a halt to that. Real, talk to me. Why do you feel like finally, and there are probably some obvious points, but why do you feel like finally with Jayden Daniels, he's the guy that we've been missing all these years?
I know, first things first, he's coming in ready to go. There's none of that. He's raw. There's none of that like mechanically deficient stuff we've went through with some of our younger quarterbacks here. He's coming in ready to go. And he started almost 60 games in college. And you know how many, you just listed a bunch of quarterbacks we've had in the last few. Oh, my camera's tweaking, by the way. I don't know what's going on with my camera. I need to fix something. I'm like glitching on screen, but
we still can hear you good though.
Oh yeah. But what we need is we finally have a quarterback who didn't have a bad spring or summer. You know how many guys have come through here? We have to grasp for what is going on at practice, at mini camp. I saw Carson Wentz throwing the ball to heaven in spring, but I still tried to sell myself on the dream because that's what you do here as a Washington fan, especially as a younger Washington fan in our age demographic. Like, we have to fight for our lives, and we want to see a quarterback so bad. I think Jayden's the one, man. I think they loved him. They had an aligned vision for him, and I think this is the first quarterback in quite some time we've drafted that has an ecosystem and foundation around him to grow.
Yeah, I mean, you speak right to it. I mean, I feel like what kind of sells me on the hype about Jayden Daniels is the first thing you said was he's coming in ready to rock and roll. There's no questions about do we need to sit. We're not in the Patriots and Drake May situation. It's like, oh no, he's coming in, and immediately day one he stepped into Washington, you knew he was similar to Caleb Williams in Chicago. This was his team day one, and it was no ifs or ands or buts about it. And I personally didn't get out the training camp this year, but I've heard how good he was at training camp and what the difference it looks like from him and guys like Sam Howell, Carson Wentz, the list that we've named over the years. It looks completely different. Heisman Trophy winner, that goes to say itself. Like, we don't even have to speak on much about that. The best player in college football last season. Like, I'm not going to say he was the best overall quarterback because Caleb Williams is something special, even though people like to hate on him.
I don't know why. I don't know. It's the nails, man. I don't know what it is, but that boy's a baller, man.
Yeah, man. I don't know what it is about that. But the overall best college player last year, Jayden Daniels, we got him on our team. The last time we've had a guy like that, Robert Griffin III, was 2012, and you see how that rookie season went out. You see people try to make that comparison. I think I've seen you a couple times try to shut that down. Talk to me why these two guys, although they were the number 2 overall pick, they both were coming off our Heisman Trophy winners. They both are electric with their legs. Tell me why Robert Griffin III and Jayden Daniels are different and why we shouldn't be so scared that something like what happened with RG3 can happen again.
See, first things first, fans got to stop. The parallels are scary. Like, This is the second overall pick, a quarterback, Heisman Trophy winner, and they both wore Carolina blue suits on draft night. So the parallels are dangerously scary. But when you watch them play football, they're two different animals coming out of school. Jayden Daniels has started hella games, and he has not had a significant injury already take place. Robert was coming to us off he had an ACL tear in college, so it wasn't his first knee injury when he got here in DC. Secondly, Jayden is a more advanced passer than Robert was coming out. I know Robert played in the Bear Raid, Art Brow's offense. There was nothing pro style or like, I know people are going to say, oh, but Cliff runs an air raid. Cliff runs an entirely different offense than what Art Brow's was running. They ran 7 plays at Baylor. They ran 7 plays, clapped the ball, the center snaps it, everybody go deep. They didn't do much. It was nothing intricate about the offense coming in. But Jayden is a better passer than RG3. And the way they run is different. People go, oh, he doesn't know how to slide. He's just like RG3. He slid before. It's just the difference is when he gets hit, since he has such a slight frame, he looks like a freaking Looney Tune character every time he gets knocked around. He looks like Sonic getting rings knocked out of him by Shadow every time he gets hit by somebody. But their style of run is different. RG3 is a straight line sprinter. Jayden has more wiggle to him. Jayden has more lateral agility to him. He's more shifty. Not saying he's quite Lamar Jackson. Nobody's that. Lamar is a one-of-one human, a one-of-one quarterback and athlete, and probably the most athletic thing we've ever seen at the position. He's not that, but he's going to be a top 2 to at least top 3 rushing quarterback from day one. Expect 500 to 600 yards on the ground, and I expect it to be in a way where he's not forcing it and not going through his reads. He's going to be running like crazy. He's going to be finding yards, and the running back designed runs. Cliff's going to get going. I'm excited, man. He's going to kill through the air and through the ground. We should be excited about his rookie season for him to get off running.
Yeah, and I just want to say a quick pause to give a huge shout out to a lot of people that's in the chat. My man Todd, my man Also Another World, who granted me access to the dream seats at FedEx Field, Northwest Federal Credit Union State, whatever it's Stadium Field, whatever it's gonna be. To me, it's still gonna always be called FedEx Field. Shout out to my man, right? Shout out to my man Also Another World for that. My man Patrick West, Kenneth Bridges, Billy Mack, Grippin, TJ Brown, Jalen's dad. What's going on, Tank, Kevin? Shout out to everyone in here and supporting us, talking about the Washington Commanders. All right, Rio. Now that we talked a little bit about, the excitement about Jayden Daniels, I'm not gonna lie to you, that is what majority of the conversation is gonna be. I mean, like, we're super excited about not having a guy that we haven't had in over a decade plus. About his preseason. What did you see from his preseason? Was there anything that was like surprising, you expected, anything that concerned? What are your takeaways from Jayden Daniels preseason?
We haven't seen enough to have any concerns yet, but what he showed me is that he is exactly as advertised. He looks like a guy who started almost 60 games in college. He has a processing clock faster than like the last 12 quarterbacks that have played here. He knows where he's going with the ball each play. He gets right to it, and he gets through his progressions very quickly. That is a mature quarterback. He's fast. His release is snappy as hell. One thing I've noticed this spring and summer with Jayden, he has a lot more juice to his arm than I thought and gave him credit for. Maybe he didn't have to use it in LSU, because Brian Thomas Jr., Malik Neighbors, and them boys were just running butt naked down the field every play. But he has a lot better arm than I thought. He has arm talent for real. He gets the ball. He knows the exact right speed in which to throw the ball. He has a big arm, but he doesn't feel like he needs to use it all the time. Santana Moss says one of the most complimentable things you can say about a quarterback is he throws a catchable ball. Jayden throws a very catchable ball, and his ball placement is as good as it comes. He only puts the ball in places where the receiver has a chance to catch it. Those are my main observations from Jayden. He looked great in the preseason, the little bit that we saw of him.
Yeah, man, and I echo everything that you said. I mean, if we look at the drives that Jayden Daniels had in the preseason, every single drive should have ended in points. If we had a kicker at the time, it probably would have, but he drove us down every single time. The play that everyone wants to point out, and that is the most impressive play to me, is obviously the one to Dyami Brown changing the play at the line, the beautiful ball.
Baller.
You know what I'm saying? Perfect play. And then like in the moment, I thought he was just happy and celebrating and smiling, but it turns out he was pointing to the line saying, yeah, y'all see I changed the play at the line. I didn't know that until Austin Eckler came out a day later and said, no, that was all Jayden Daniels.
Cracked the smile at Cliff.
Yeah, that was all JD5 changing the play at the line of scrimmage, liking what he see, and I love it. Hold on, let me announce this right quick, because I mean, I can't say nothing just yet because we haven't played.
Oh my God!
I'm so tired of y'all. I'm so tired of them because
we're
they
sweeping
know.
We're sweeping them, bro. I've said it the other day on my channel. I'm saying it with my chest. We're sweeping them Bama's.
I say this every single year with the Giants, and it never happens. It has to happen at some point. Just how people say the Falcons has to beat us at some point, we have to sweep the Giants at some point, because every single year those Bama's get off on the hook and they are so bad, but we can't say nothing because we never beat them. So this year, I'm going to say it one more time, and hopefully this time is finally true. We're sweeping the New York Giants, man. Like I'm tired of them. I actually hate them more than the Cowboys at this point.
I hate them. Get the brooms out. Get the brooms out, bro. Because I can't fathom why we lose to them, because they're not good at football, and Daniel Jones stinks, but he somehow transforms into the second coming of Caucasian Vic every time he shows up on our schedule. We're sweeping them Bama's this year. I agree with you.
Yeah, man, I can't stand the New York Giants. I think at this point in my life, it was always Cowboys. But until we sweep the Giants, man, I think what really, like, I didn't like the Giants because we couldn't beat Daniel Jones. That was already enough. But when they got Deonte Banks and he get the perping on live, he went live on us last year. Like that, it was that serious. It was that personal for him because he wanted to become a commander, I guess. He went on live and said,
kid.
He said the most disrespectful thing to me, because every single time in my life, at least, there's probably been maybe one guy, two guys, but every time I watch Terry McLaurin, a lot of his shutdown, he gets shut down, he's quiet, isn't on him. And Deonte Banks got on live and said, "Did 17 play today?" I took that to heart. I probably was more offended than Terry himself.
I took it personally, man. Took it personally, yeah. Little did he know, Eric Bieniemy had our offense in jail last year, and it's continuing on in UCLA, where his offense only scored one touchdown yesterday. But I hate losing to them. Like, Tommy DeVito is not a real person. Like, that is a cast off from The Sopranos. That is not a real quarterback. He came into our trap and took over our trap last year at formerly known FedEx Field. We can't have them beating us this year. We're on a new level now.
Man, I'm so happy they gave us to him week 2. I'm so happy. I did not want to wait for the Giants. I mean, I would have loved to open up against them, but I'm glad we got them week 2, because I need to beat the New York Giants. He says, who's going to stop Malik Neighbors? Well, his name is Daniel Jones, number 8. Malik Neighbors is a hell of a talent. And your quarterback is going to be the reason why he isn't successful this season.
Correct.
But yeah,
correct.
Back to talking about the Commanders. Jahan Dotson, okay. I'm gonna close the chapter on him after tonight. I said I was done making videos on which I am, but since I'm talking to my man Rio Robinson, I have to ask this question. When Jahan Dotson played, you know, I heard the members and the noise about him in training camp and stuff like that, about guys saying that he may get traded, but I really didn't see, because I didn't watch training camp live all the time. But after seeing him out there in the preseason, I made a video titled Jahan, things are getting weird for Jahan Dotson, and it's not good. And in that video, I said, hey, y'all, just curious. Jahan Dotson played longer than any starter out there, and he's, to my knowledge, at this time, he was supposed to be the number 2 receiver at this time. I'm like, why is he out there? Something is very weird. And that video went crazy. It kind of went semi-viral. I think Brian Mitchell maybe came across it. I have a gut feeling these people be watching our videos, Rio, because
they do for sure. I can confirm that they watch what we do on YouTube. I can confirm, and a lot of them, they don't like what we do on YouTube because they went to school to do this, and us fans, we be taking traction off of their stuff. But I'm gonna let you cook.
Oh, my man Rio feel like hey Rio, if you got anything to say, man, take over, bro. But I feel like because it got so much traction, it really good. I feel like Brian Mitchell maybe seeing it, or one of these media members maybe seeing it, because prior to me making that video, I didn't hear no one in the media asking questions about Jahan Dotson. I mean, obviously Twitter fingers and stuff like other fans, but no one in the media, no one personality for the Commanders. I did not hear them say anything about Jahan Dotson. Then after that video kind of went up, I hear things about, it's Jahan Dotson this, Jahan Dotson that. Brian Mitchell goes on his tangent and says how he calling out guys. He didn't name Jahan Dotson in the moment, but then he later comes out and say Jahan Dotson is one of the guys he was talking about. When do you think Jahan Dotson kind of, I guess, fell off in a sense? Because he did come out and say he lost his confidence, and he was working to get that back. When do you think he lost his confidence? Why wasn't he able to gel with Jayden Daniels or get it back here in Washington? Just because 2 years ago, rookie season, I was at the game. I'm pretty sure you were. Week 1, 2 touchdowns. You couldn't ask for a better start.
Came out smoking.
What happened to that guy?
Last year was awful. Like, yes, we know who the main culprit is, and he is no longer an NFL coach. Eric Bieniemy's offense is not a thing that works. He did not call plays in Kansas City, and it's so clear by the way that he's failed in Colorado as the play caller and failed in Washington as the play caller. So he's failed at 2 different levels as an offensive coordinator. So the main culprit obviously is Eric Bieniemy, but Terry, even in a down year, gave you 1,000 yards. We haven't seen Jahan capable of doing such in the role starting opposite Terry on the other side of the field. Jahan has bad play strength. If you get your hands on him, he's done at the line of scrimmage. So his only way to win a route is to beat you off the ball. If he does not beat you off the ball, he loses. He has bad play strength. He bulked up in year 2. We thought he was going to explode and he was going to challenge Terry to be the top guy on the team. He had 4 games last year. We had 0 catches, 0 yards. You can't have that and want to start in the NFL. And also, when you have a season where you start every game of the season and end up with 500 yards at the end of the season, questions have to be asked. There's a reason why Dyami Brown and Olamide Zaccheaus got Jahan up out of here. And clearly, what Brian Mitchell reported was 100% about him. Jahan thought he had a job waiting for him once the new staff got in the building. Well, he didn't want to compete for it. He used to walk around carrying a football, all smiles. He didn't want to. He's not that anymore. He's not enjoying his job now that he has to work for it. And then we go see this guy versus the Jets playing a whole half of football when he's the alleged starter, and Dyami's on the sideline on street clothes in the second quarter. Then everybody is now hip of what's happening. Dan Quinn, not a glowing endorsement of Jahan Dotson. Cliff Kingsbury, not a glowing endorsement of Jahan Dotson. Fans want to blame guys like us for keeping it real and saying, maybe Jahan's just not good enough. But do you believe us now that Adam Peters, Dan Quinn, and Cliff Kingsbury, it got so bad with Jahan that they didn't even want him on the roster? So bad with Jahan that the best deal that we could find for him was versus an op, our division rival. That tells you how bad and not robust the market was and how bad the league thinks about Jahan Dotson right now. He is now like option number 4 on the Philadelphia Eagles. And to be perfectly honest, that's probably right at home with him right now. He has no pressure. He gets to go back home to where he played up in Penn State. Good for Jahan Dotson. Good for the Philadelphia Eagles. Glad we could wipe our hands on another Ron Rivera miss, because Chris Olave should be the wide receiver opposite Terry on this team.
Yeah, man. And I first want to start by saying we don't hate Jahan Dotson. We don't wish any bad for Jahan Dotson. In fact, I hope when he doesn't play us, he finds himself again. He finds that confidence again, and he shows the Eagles why he was a first-round pick. It just, I guess, simply he got complacent. And I'll be honest, I'll be the first to admit it. when we drafted him, the way he talked in interviews, the way he moved himself, the way he carried himself, he did not rub me as that kind of guy that would get complacent. I compared this guy to Terry McLaurin in the sense of how he carried himself, how he acted, how he talked, how he moved. But Terry isn't the guy to get complacent. Other guys on this roster isn't to get complacent, and that's pretty much what he did. And you brought up Dyami Brown. I remember just weeks prior to training camp starting, people thought this guy was going to get cut. Yep. And based off of his seasons prior, I can't say I'm mad at them for thinking that. However, what I will say, and I've always said about Dyami, is he works hard. He trains like nobody else. Like the vlogs, the videos he posts on Twitter, he works, and it just never clicked consistently in games. What do you think about Dyami Brown? Do you buy into the hype of him and finally in his final year of his contract being able to blossom? And also, what do you think it is about this specific system that has them believing in Dyami Brown so much so that they cut ties with a first round pick?
I know Dyami actually plays his size. Like, he doesn't play smaller than his size. Jahan played like a 5'9", 180-pound receiver. Dyami actually he got swole. He put some muscle on. He can actually play through defenders getting their hand on him. Here's the thing. Dyami just has to separate on a regular basis. He was a deep threat, take the top off the defense guy in college, where he's not a burner 40-yard dash wise, but he knows how to get behind the defense. When you get behind the defense, catch the ball. Countless times we've seen Dyami be his own worst enemy. Is Dyami going to actually bring production into the regular season? We see the videos. We see how hard you're working. I can see it in your body. The guy works as hard as anybody on the roster, but none of that shit means anything if you end the season with 150 yards. Nigga be ending the season with 150 yards more than us. More than us. We can't have that in 2024. But now, it's now or never. It's a contract season for him. It's year 4. He don't get the luxury of a 5th-year option like first-round picks do. It is now or the DC Defenders for Dyami Brown. He probably went out to Audi Field and said, "No, sir, not me." And he got in the gym and he said, "Nah, we getting Jahan up out of here. I know that's his brother and everything, but he did what he had to do. It's nothing personal. It's all business." I'm excited to see if he finally turns that page, because if he becomes wide receiver 2 and it clicks, our offense is going to be crazy, because I believe in the running backs, the tight end room, and Terry McLaurin with Jayden Daniels behind the center. I believe in that.
Yeah. And the crazy thing about it, man, when I saw, and I'm pretty sure you were live at that game too, that 2-touchdown game from Dyami Brown was literally the reason why he got drafted. You brought it up just now. He was a deep threat at UNC. Both of those touchdown passes were bombs. And after that, I said, oh my God, he finally may have arrived. And after that, he was back to being quiet and back to barely being used. I'm looking up on 4th downs. Dyami's running down on special teams. Again, specifically about this game that you know about, why do you think Dyami is fitting in this scheme? And why do you feel as though he's ready to take that leap, if you do think so?
It's a receiver's offense. Like, we're going to be we're going to run the ball a lot, but receivers are going to be busy. So it really didn't even matter who was starting, because we're going to see a lot of 4 or 5 wide receiver sets here. But Cliff Kingsbury targets his guys, man. Like Terry, his target share should be insane this year. When he had D-Hop there in his first year in Arizona, the guy was getting 90 yards a game. He targets his main targets like crazy. And he has a chance if given more opportunities to make things happen, but he has to do his part. He has to get open. And when the ball's delivered to him, you got to catch it. I remember Sam Howell threw him a nice deep ball that went a little bit outside of his hands versus Chicago. Terry catches that shit. But a good receiver, a starting receiver in the NFL catches it. If it touches your hand, it's supposed to be a catch. Concentration drops cannot be a thing. We'll see. I believe in Dyami like I believe in the supernatural. I'll believe in it when I see it. We'll see.
Definitely. Okay, I want to give some more shout outs to the Cold Talker. Says Greensboro, North Carolina in the house, late but here. And we already know Commanders fans take over North Carolina, South Carolina. Like we really deep down in the Carolinas. Every time we play what's the Carolina Panthers, we take over that stadium. So shout out to Greensboro, North Carolina. The Treble Alien Trip Check. What's going on? Says if the O-line can handle Vita Vea, we should be okay. We'll definitely talk about that a little bit. Tank says play calling is gonna be nice now. More stinky hyped up. No more stink hyped up. EB, and that's funny that you just brought it up because yesterday I was watching the UCLA game and they could not get nothing going, and I was just like, man, UCLA is trash. Like I was just like, they're trash. But
awful.
then I forgot until you just brought it up. You said UCLA EB can't get nothing going. I said, hey, I forgot. He is the offensive coordinator there, so it makes perfect sense.
It adds up.
Right. Yeah, man. So shout out to Dame Dash. This is our offense will be serious. Still got Almighty Finesse in here trolling us with the Giants talk. It's all good. I love getting trolled because when we finally turn the tables and we're the ones that are going to become the trollers, y'all ain't going to be able to stand us. I'm telling you. Noah Brown is sneaky too. Okay, yeah. Speaking of that, I like the Noah Brown signing. When he got cut from Houston, or when Houston let go of him, I immediately wanted to jump on that because Noah Brown is a guy that was able to succeed in Houston due to the fact of quarterback play. And his trajectory of his career is shooting up. The last 2 seasons, the final one in Dallas, and then the last year in Houston, he had over 500 yards. And he had 500 yards and 2 touchdowns, I believe like 10 yards per catch last season, with him being the third option, right? Behind Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz. Talk to me about how you feel about Noah Brown and how do you see him fitting into this offense? And with him going from a guy like CJ Stroud was who able to elevate him, do you see Jayden Daniels being able to do the same thing?
What's crazy is he did it with injury history. Like he played 10 games last year. He had his 500 something yards in 10 games. That is 7 less games than Jahan Dotson, and they finished with about the same amount of yards last year. Not to mention, Noah Brown is like option 3 in Houston. We got Tank Dell and Nico Collins getting the majority of the target share there. He still produced behind those 2 guys the same production the guy fans are crying about that we let go to Philadelphia last week. Well, everybody that cried, we just brought Jahan's production back on the team, and we got an extra 3rd rounder to do so. So He's probably not going to be making much. He's going to get out in the field. He's going to get active. He's probably going to be the wide receiver 3 on the outside, meaning wide receiver 4 on the depth chart behind Terry, Dyami, and Alameda. He's probably the next receiver on the field whenever we go to a 4-receiver set. That's a guy we're going to see a lot on the outside. If Dyami starts slacking and getting up to typical Dyami things, Noah Brown will be in there starting in no time. I love to hear Jayden staying after practice with him on his first day with the team back on Thursday of last week. Noah Brown is going to get targets here. He's going to get a lot of snaps, and he's going to see the field very early for Washington. We will see him as soon as Sunday in Tampa Bay. Veteran receiver, starting receiver. You don't have to start saying the word playoffs because we signed him. He's not exactly a franchise-altering move, but we waited patiently. We didn't put in a claim on anybody, and we signed a guy that we targeted in the process. I like the pragmatic movement of Adam Peters and company.
Yeah, definitely. And to piggyback off you, man, about the Noah Brown signing again, I was clamoring, banging the table for him because I paid attention to Houston a lot last year once they started to pick up steam. And he was a guy that I constantly kept saying. And I'm sitting back here like, Noah Brown? Because I remember Noah Brown in Dallas prior to the last season in Dallas, and he really didn't do anything in Dallas. And I'm like, Noah Brown is balling like this? Dalton Schultz is balling like this? Like, it's crazy. And when you look at a guy like Noah Brown, not only is he able to help out in the passing game, but he's a bigger body, so he's helping out in the run game, can do the dirty work, and is not afraid to get dirty out there in the field. So as you mentioned, probably not going to be like the go-to option, obviously, but he's somebody that can come in and help. And he's somebody that soothed my hurt feelings because I really wanted Martavis Brown to make this roster because I just felt like we were so in dire need at the wide receiver position. And we needed some size. I mean, we've tried in the past. Gandy Golden failed. Cam Sims, I liked Cam Sims. We just didn't use him much. Like, we failed at trying to bring in size. that I really wanted Martavis Bryant, but hey, I'm fine with Noah Brown. I do want to take a quick pause since we're halfway through our time here and give a huge shout out to today's sponsors, SeatGeek. Right now, you can use your SeatGeek promo code JuangOttiBusiness to get $20 off your first purchase, and that's going to come in handy if a lot of you guys are going to any live events. Don't even have to be just Commanders games or Commanders games. You can get $20 off your first purchase, and let's just say you already bought your tickets. Well, we know, Rio, you probably know better than me. Parking up at FedEx Field or Northwest Credit Union is expensive. So go ahead and use that $20 off on parking if you already got your tickets for any games. And then go ahead, do yourself a favor, link down below in the description, and follow me on Twitch, as that is where I will be live streaming the games over this season. No longer on YouTube after 4 years. It was a good run, but we trying something out new on Twitch. And then join the Discord. All that is down below in the description. All righty, let's get back to it. My man Rio, I wanted to talk to you specifically about this topic here. So I was doing a video earlier. I was on the Commanders Wires, their website. My video earlier today was basically about how Adam Peters came out and said, and this is nothing that is not new. He's always said this. This is not a rebuild. This is a recalibration, and we are ready to win now. How do you feel about that statement? Do you think the Washington Commanders are ready to win now? And how I guess would say shocked would you be if we look back up in November and December when we're actually competitive? We're around 9 wins, maybe 10, 11, and kind of have a Texans kind of season. I know a lot of people like to make that comparison, but I guess
they shouldn't because what Houston did last year was not normal. If you think Washington's going to be the Houston of, and first of all, that's not contextual because Houston had picked top 5 in the couple drafts before the CJ Stroud draft. They added the Derek Stingleys already to their roster. They already added some pieces. They traded for Laramie Tunsil. You can't, it's not an apples to oranges type comparison. Look more at Detroit's build and how they did it and incrementally worked their way into the NFC B right now. You can't look at Houston and say, rookie quarterback, second pick, 10 wins, playoffs, year 1. We could do the same thing. They had a rookie coach last year. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. And Adam Peters is saying what he's supposed to say as a general manager. Right. You can't just go tell the fans that we're ass right now. We're going to win 2 or 3 games this year, but we're doing the right things. But what he can say, remember his introductory press conference, the pregnant pause he took when they asked him, when David Aldridge asked him specifically, what do you think of the current state of the roster? He sat there for like 6 seconds and tried to gather his composure. What can I say without saying, but telling you this roster is trash? That told you everything you needed to know. That and how they handled the free agency. We literally signed 20. When have we, even in the days of Vinny Serrato and Dan signing every player who a fan could recognize, I've never seen us sign like 22 people in one offseason. Washington was signing like 5 guys a day for like the first 2 weeks of free agency. And not everybody's a star. Not everybody's an impact player. They put culture setters, identity setters in positions to mentor these young bucks on the roster. But we're watching Adam Peters' first roster that he gets to put together here. People are giving up on him. Oh, Adam Peters, it's unforgivable what you've done. Please shut the hell up. Y'all sound ridiculous. Build this in your vision, build it correctly. And what he's saying is with Dan Quinn's tutelage and with what we have on the roster, including the rookie quarterback we drafted in with the 2nd overall pick, don't be surprised if we're in the mix for 8, 9, 10 wins this year. But he's not putting those type of expectations out in the air. He's supposed to say we're going to compete. And they can say whatever word they like to. This is a damn rebuild.
Well said, my man. Well said. So, like, even though I'm pretty sure you don't expect it, looking at this schedule to me, and it's so hard because I think it's the fan in me taking over. But to me, it doesn't look like that bad of a gauntlet as it was in year past. Like, obviously, we have some tough games on the schedule. Don't get me wrong. Especially I'm looking at that week 3 Cincinnati as one of the toughest games on the schedule. But in years past, to me, our schedules were much tougher. So how shocked would you be if this team turned out to win 9-10 games and potentially make it to the playoffs?
9, like I got the team winning 8 games. I got them going 8-9, and I got a combination of we beat a few teams that we're supposed to beat. We get to catch a couple guys early with the element of surprise. I got us upsetting Tampa this Sunday to open the season. 10-11 wins, that would surprise me, because that would mean, okay, this quarterback is really like that already. Like he's ready to go. And it would mean some of our younger pieces that we had lower expectations on, the Dyami Browns, the Emmanuel Forbeses of the world, the Quan Martin, those guys really came, and the coaching staff is getting through to the players. The biggest thing with our team the last 4 years during the Ron Rivera regime is that coaching wasn't getting through to players. There were so many miscommunication gaffes. Guys are always in the wrong place. So this year, we shouldn't really be focused about the win total as long as it's more than 4. This is not a 4-win football team. It's not a 5-win football team. But as long as you see that they're at the end of the year, this team has an identity. When you see Washington show up on the schedule, you know what's showing up. They're going to hit you. They're going to play hard. They're going to compete. You're going to have to fight your hardest to beat them. That, and as long as the quarterback and the rookie class is developing, that's all we really need to see in 2024. We're not going to be a bad football team.
Right. Yeah, no, and you took exactly what I was going to say right out of my mouth. Like, to me, whether we're good this year and we surprise people and maybe make the playoffs, or we're just a team that is showing their youthness in the sense of this rebuild, like you said, I call it a rebuild too. As long as we show strides, as long as we are competitive, as long as Jayden Daniels, I'm gonna be real, as long as just Jayden Daniels show that he is the guy moving forward, I don't care how this season plays out. Thanks. Now, if we get to the point where it's like, hey, we got questions about Jayden, he's not looking how we thought he was looking, and he's looking a little questionable, granted, I'll be like, yeah, it's year 1, y'all chill out. We got more years to come. But I will be like, hey, I ain't gonna lie, I don't know. But if he is showing constantly that he's the guy bringing us back, kind of having us in games, but the defense giving it up, secondary giving it up late, and we lose a lot of nail biters, I ain't gonna be mad. Am I gonna be frustrated in the moment? Heck yeah, because I want to win. I don't care what my prediction record says, whether it's 6-11, 8-8, 11-6, 12-5. I don't care what it say. I want to win every single time we're out there, even if we're not supposed to. So, of course, I'm gonna be upset in the moment, but after, I'm gonna be like, okay, let me see how Jayden did. Jayden, is he 24 for 35, 305, 2 touchdowns? Okay, cool. But I'm already knowing what I'm going to expect from this secondary, specifically because I'm not that high on them. Real, if there's one position group that gives you a real concern headed into this week and next week, and I should say, in this season, what is it?
Oh, it's the cornerback room. I'm going to be very specific. I'm going to give them a chance because Joe Witt Jr. and Dan Quinn have not shown at any point of their career they cannot develop secondary players or develop a defense in totality. Everywhere they've gone, defenses have gotten better and progressed over time. So we haven't seen what they're going to be running in the regular season yet. We haven't seen any exotic blitzes. We haven't seen any of the actual playbook, but the secondary on paper concerns me. St. Juice, Forbes, and Michael Davis on the outside. I guess St. Juice is coming into the season as your cornerback 1. That terrifies me because I know he doesn't have burners and he's the grabbiest penalty committing cornerback we've seen, but I'm going to try to give them the benefit of the doubt. They got to go out there and show me it's more of the same for me to be disappointed in them this year, because the bar is in hell for the cornerback room right now. But we got 2,000-yard receivers on that opposite side of the field next week. Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. For the last, Mike Evans wakes up out of sleep and gets 1,000 yards, and Chris Godwin the last 3 years over 1,000 as well. Palmer in year 2. They got some weapons on that side, and Baker has found his light again as a quarterback in this league. It's the cornerback room. I think a lot of people will say the offensive line. I think the offensive line is going to be adequate enough, and an improvement at OC and quarterback doesn't make the offensive line group that to me. I think it's the cornerback room easily. Hopefully the depth in the cornerback room, like Noah Igbenogany, who's wearing one. I don't know why the equipment managers allowed that shit, but I need him. He has 4.3 speed. If he gets his ass on that field, go make a play, go pick something, go pick up a fumble and take it to the crib. The cornerback room is my easy answer for this question.
My man Rio said, "Fam, I saw that tweet when you saw one. When you saw him rocking one, I'm like, hey, is he gonna be able to add channel as inner Sauce Gardner for me, please?" But no, I definitely understand where you're coming from with the cornerback room. That is one of my biggest concerns. Shout out to my man Jalen's dad. He is an avid Emmanuel Forbes supporter. I'm not mad at him because at the end of the day, whether I believe in Emmanuel Forbes or not, I want him to be successful. Contrary to people's belief out there, they think I hate Emmanuel Forbes good. I want to see him be trapped. No, I'm just my opinion, and I'm real on him at this moment. But my man Jalen's dad riding hard for E Forbes, man. Pro Bowl, he's always telling me he's gonna surprise a lot of people. I want that to be the case. I want that to be the case. Larry, thank you so much for the comment. Yeah, go ahead.
We all want these players to succeed. That's why some fans say, why do you guys hate the players so much? Why are y'all so hard on them? I'm a father. I have 2 children. I'm hard on my own kids. You think I'm not going to be hard on grown man, millionaire athletes selected in the first round of the draft? Emmanuel Forbes better play better this year. We should be anticipating shit like Pro Bowls with Emmanuel Forbes. I'm not. I just want to see him be a competent starter in the league. If Emmanuel Forbes can merely be a starting cornerback in this league, I'll take it. If he goes to the Pro Bowl, Jalen's dad, you need to play the lottery, my friend, because you foresaw the future that nobody on this world other than you sees outside of the Forbes family. But we all want Emmanuel Forbes the ball. Do you think we like getting online and slandering our own players? Do you think we want to see our first round picks be ass every year? No, we all want to see him ball out. I'm crossing my fingers. I hope Jalen's dad is right because Washington could really be in a much better situation if a number 1 corner is established this year.
Yeah, no, and you're definitely right. Noah Igbenogany, hopefully I said his name right. He is wearing number 1 for this season.
Noah freaking Igbenogany is wearing number 1. That's nasty.
Hey, hopefully, man, that him putting on that fly number can help him be good or something, and we find the next coming of Sauce Gardner. I don't know. I was actually kind of upset we chose him over Chiggy Anusium because I liked him. However, I know we brought him back on the practice squad, but you mentioned the 4.3 speed with Noah. Maybe that can help out a lot. Specifically back to Forbes for a second. I want to know your honest opinion on not what you expect from him this season, but he caught a pick today. There's been, notes and quotes on Twitter about how much better he's looking. What is your honest feeling about Emmanuel Forbes headed into this season?
I just want to see better. Any progress helps. That's my mantra for Emmanuel Forbes this year. Anything that points up helps. Is he in the right place? Is he running step for step with receivers? Dan Quinn defenses have the propensity to get their hand on the ball. What did we draft Emmanuel Forbes to do? Flip the field and create turnovers. Dallas's defense went from bottom of the league to the tops in the league and turning the ball over. They turned Deron Bland into a historic all-pro type corner last year. If they can fix Emmanuel Forbes, Washington is in tremendous shape because that would mean we don't have a weakness at any of the levels of our defense because you know what it is up front. The linebacker room is actually good for the first time in a long time. And I think on the back end with Jeremy Chin and Quan Martin, I think we're going to be safe and we're going to finally see what safety help looks like on the defensive side of the ball. But the cornerback room is the only mystery. If Emmanuel Forbes shows us any of the reasons why we drafted him in the first round, because Dallas was interested in him as well. They had Emmanuel Forbes on their short list of prospects they expected to fall to them in the 20s of the first round last year. So anything that points in the positive direction, I will take it from Emmanuel Forbes in 2024. My fingers are crossed. I hope so.
Yeah, and perfect time. And my man Donnell J is a Cowboys fan, and he's one of the most realest Cowboys fans that I know. And he
Shout out
said,
to
"Yeah,
him.
Bland only had 2 picks in college." And you
Right.
mentioned they just turned him into an absolute stud. Same with Trayvon Diggs. Mike Nolan's defense prior to Dan Quinn's arrival was absolutely horrible, and he turned Trayvon Diggs into a star. Something that just kills me about Cowboys fans is all of a sudden Dan Quinn is just this trash defensive coordinator. Glad he's gone. We're excited about Mike Zimmer. Like I said, I give my hats off to Donnell Jenkins because he's one of the only few Cowboys fans that is real and hasn't said anything bad about Dan Quinn. Not saying Dan Quinn is perfect, but it's just so crazy to me how the tide just changes just because he's now your rival's head coach. West says, let's give Commander Forbes a chance. He was trash system last year with trash coaching. And I'm not going to disagree with that.
Those things are true, but you're still allowed to flash first-round talent when you're drafted 16th in the NFL draft. Deontay Banks was in a trash unit last year. He flashed for the New York Giants. Christian Gonzalez definitely flashed, and they were the 3rd worst team in the league last year. So that's not an excuse to not show anything. Forbes didn't show shit in his rookie year.
Besides getting left in the dirt by AJ Brown. But hey, look, that's another story for another time.
It's in the past, man.
Yeah, so I do want us to take a quick pause. We got about like 10 more minutes before we get my man Rio up out of here. 100 people in here. Shout out to my man Rio Robinson for stopping by. I'm pretty sure y'all all know who the man of the hour is, my guy Rio. Go subscribe to him if you do not. And I do meant to do this all the time. I have guests on the top of the show. Totally slipped my mind because I was so excited. Let me take my time out to give my man Rio Robinson his flowers. Absolutely killing it, my guy. You know, you came on, I want to say, is it 3 years at this time or is it 2 still?
3 years.
3 years. I don't want to say I was your first video, but I know I was one of the earliest videos you did on your channel.
Yep.
And
sure were.
It was the Patriots preseason video.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And it was absolutely a blast. And you have just taken this thing and just absolutely blew up and blossomed. And I can't be more proud of you, man. Like I said, when I was away off of YouTube, trying to figure out my real life, taking on real life tasks, you know what I'm saying, doing other things, you know, as a young man, as you know what I'm saying, as I try to do, 20 years old, just figuring it out, right? I saw that you had hit 10,000, and man, my face lit up, bro. Because I was just so excited for not just Commanders getting more exposure because we are a small, you know, fan base in itself here on YouTube.
For now.
But yeah, for now, until we start winning and the bandwagons come along, right? But for you specifically, because I know how hard you work, I know how much passion you put behind this team and your content and being out there every single game. You were at some tough games, some hard games to watch, and you sat through it all, giving us good content each and every single day, from the videos to the live streams. I just got to give you your flowers, man. Took this thing and ran with it. Now sitting at over 12,000 strong. Just talk to me quickly. How does that feel, bro?
First of all, I appreciate you because even as a young bull, you were one of my inspirations to start YouTube. Watching you, watching Rico, watching Pedro, watching Ed, watching y'all's videos. Like, I have so much to say, and I feel like I'm wasting my time using Twitter fingers to get my points out when I should be speaking to the masses on my own podcast platform or on YouTube, which is what we do here as YouTube content creators. And just know that I'll be 33 next month. You're still going to be figuring your life out in your 30s as well. So do not put a rush, do not put a clock, do not put a stopwatch on success and having a plan and having clarity. Just listen to your head and your heart and attack what you want to attack, my boy, because the world is your oyster. Let's get it. There's room for everybody to eat in this content sphere. Come on now. We got about 30 people talking about the same damn team, but we all do it in a different way. We all have our own style, our own flavor that we present to the masses. I appreciate you for being one of my influences on YouTube. I'm sorry that my camera's not working, so I'm looking a little doofy on this stream tonight. I just got a new webcam it just came in about an hour before your stream, so I haven't messed with the settings yet, so I don't have all the configurations right, so it's kind of tweaking right now. I apologize for that.
Nah, you're all good, my man. And I mean, that means a lot, you know what I'm saying, to hear, you know, that I was one of your inspirations. That's not, because obviously, like, I'm younger, so it's very I guess
Always watch your
exciting.
stuff, man.
Yeah. Thank you, man. That definitely is amazing to hear. But I just had to give you your flowers because you are absolutely at the top of this community, one of the best out there, and is absolutely going crazy. And I cannot wait to continue to see your success and you blossom and take this thing further. And as you mentioned, bro, there's room for everyone. I mean, I constantly see people DM me on Instagram or comment they're about to start a channel, and I'm all for it. Like
Do it. I'm like, do
to
it.
see
Just
it.
go.
You know
Just
what I'm
go.
saying?
Like I don't know what to get. I'm like, yo, I don't know if you notice on my channel. Sometimes I don't even show my face on the screen. Just go. Press record. Open your laptop up if you got one, your desktop, whatever it is. Open your phone up. Do whatever you got. Just hit record and figure it out along as you go. You can upgrade your equipment as you go. Don't worry about coming out the gate with all that. Just start it. Develop a rhythm. Start to become comfortable on camera, on microphone. This content, everybody should be taking advantage of it because there's room in all different types of lanes or whatever it is for you. If you want to start making content, what's stopping you?
Exactly. And one of the things before we close out the show by talking a little bit more about our commanders, one of the things that bigger YouTubers, I mean, I'm talking about YouTubers with millions of subscribers and millions of dollars off this content creation said out there is you don't have to start with the biggest camera, the biggest production company. You know what you can start with? I don't even have it near me. But a phone. A phone is all you need to do. And as you mentioned, just press record and get to uploading your content. So again, my man Rio, I appreciate you for stopping by and continue to keep going. The season's gonna be really good for you. Your channel is blossoming. 12.2 thousand subscribers. Man, you are truly one of them ones. My man Griffin says Rio, Rico, Louie, and Juan keep on bringing us fans. The news you already know.
That's what we do.
Jalen's dad says, "Too humble, Ghost." That is very, very kind of you to say. Thank you so much. As Rio be calling it like it is, and that's one thing. and that's one thing that I will honestly say about you. You don't care, like you, and that's what I feel like people like about you. You don't care to make the people that are avid Washington fans only see them in the positive, like can't do no wrong. You don't care about that. You're going to get on that camera, whether it's positive, whether it's negative, and tell us how it is. And that is why people like you, in my opinion, because they are just like you. They are real fans just like you.
You got to call it how you see it, man. Everything with the team ain't positive. Everything with the team is not negative. You got to find a healthy medium and sit between that. I know fan is short for fanatic, and we're all a little bit crazy, but you can't be afraid as a content creator to push back at the audience because you got to speak your mind and you can't be changing your thoughts just to appease an audience, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And Donnell J says, we're just running through the comments before we get my man Rio up out of here. Donnell J says, Rio is cool. I met him at Mark Holmes' house. That's pretty
cool. Good peoples, man. Good peoples, man. That was good eats over there.
Yeah, I haven't watched Mark Holmes in a while, but that is one thing about Mark Holmes. He knows how to cook. I haven't personally tried anything, but I've watched him for years. And
shout out to Mark too, man. He was one of the people that was one of my main influences and mentors to starting the channel. He's over 120, 130K now on YouTube. So shout out to Mark.
Yeah, them Cowboys fans, man. Hey, I can't wait for those numbers to start infiltrating over here to Washington.
When we start winning, our channels are going to freaking go. They're going to go nuts, yo.
Yeah, man. I can't wait for that. Shout out to Mark Holmes. Let's see. It says Juan is on his way to 8,000. Hey, I'm trying, man. I can't wait for that to be, happening. I'm very excited about any subscriber, any view. Thank you all for watching to me. Yeah. Like this live stream up. Thank you for subscribing to me, and thank you for subscribing to my man Rio again. Just in under 3 years, 12,000 subscribers, putting in that work, man. My guy Rio is going crazy. Tay says he's ready for the game. I guess to kill the last 2 minutes or so, last couple minutes. Talk to me about your preview. I know it'll probably come out later this week about the Bucs. How are you feeling about this Bucs game? What are you looking for? Your overall thoughts? Because I know prior to the hype of the training camp, seeing the players and letting that get to me. When the schedule first came out, I said, "Oh yeah, we're losing this game. It's gonna be really close." But I feel like Baker Mayfield defense is gonna be able to get a stop. Baker Mayfield is gonna walk us off. But after I seen training camp, after I seen preseason, after I constantly hear the people talk, the players, the coaches, I'm like, man, you know what? Let's go to Tampa and win. Why can't we do it? Talk to me about your feeling about this game. What are you looking for, and your overall thoughts?
Why not Washington, right? But I think the element of surprise will definitely be in our favor. Todd Bowles is one of them ones when it comes to calling defenses, but they don't know who we are. Just like 2012, the New Orleans Saints coming in when Washington went up to the Mercedes-Benz Super Bowl. They didn't know what we were running. We didn't show anything in the preseason. So don't let these PFF pie chart analytics people tell you that Cliff is off to his same tricks in DC. We don't know what the tricks look like because from what I heard they've been running in practice, we haven't seen any of that yet in the preseason. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see how they open up these playbooks and dig deep in that duffel bag. But I don't know, man. I'm excited. I think Washington's going to go out and find a way to get a victory and start the season on a good foot. And we're going to head into our home opener versus New York with a dub. Jayden Daniels is going to light it up next week.
Yes, sir. And I can't wait for it, man. Again, I said really one of my biggest concerns or things that scare me. Obviously, we know Mike Evans is, Chris Godwin. I don't think we're stopping those guys. So I'm not even counting those as concerns because those guys are just different. Cade Otton, for me, is the sneaky X factor for the Bucs offense. If we could find a way to slow him down, I think we will be in very good hands because offensively, I do think we're going to be able to move the ball and score. My man Jalen's dad says, Rio, I've been subbed up to you for a couple of years. Shout out to my man Jalen's dad. And hopefully that thing about Emmanuel Forbes you're hoping about and saying
I'm praying.
Is true.
If he's I'm gonna have to send him a super chat if that's true, and I'm gonna have to ask him for some lottery numbers because he knows something that we don't. Oh, and if anybody ain't see, Jayden's at the USC versus LSU game. He got his Heisman Trophy on deck. He out there looking swaggy. The aura is crazy around that boy, man. I love our quarterback, man.
And let me ask this because I know. Like, obviously, the last time we've had something like this was RG3. But when is the last time you, and it could be somebody that we don't even like or we thought were trash or we have a different opinion. But when is the last time you felt like this for a quarterback of ours? Could be anybody since RG3, I guess.
People are going to it's not to this level, but I liked Kirk Cousins. I do not care what anybody said. He didn't get it done in the playoffs. You know who doesn't get it done in the playoffs? Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. Burrow has got to a Super Bowl, hasn't won one. Winning is hard in the NFL. But you know what's harder? Finding a freaking quarterback. And Kirk was the best quarterback we've had in my lifetime as a fan here. And having a guy that can throw for 4K, 25 plus touchdowns and give you a chance each week, that is something you pay when you have one on the roster, and Washington has found out what life is like when you let one of those walk out the door. So while it's not to this level that I felt about year one RG3 and Jayden Daniels, I am one of the few fans that was grateful and appreciative of how good Kirk Cousins is, and I hope he thrives in Atlanta.
Yay, man. I'm all with you on that one, man. I mean, Kirk Cousins is the only quarterback. Nah, I take that back. Kirk Cousins is the main quarterback that made me cry. Like I know you remember this, Rio, and I don't know how you reacted because you were much older than me at this time. But that 2016 Giants game, I will never let that go. I literally cried. Like literal tears came out of my eyes because I seen that all too familiar with Kirk Cousins. Yes, brought us back in the Tampa game. Yes. You know, so many other games, the Sunday night versus the Packers, the game versus the Rays, so many great moments with Kirk Cousins, yes, but all too well, I seen that exact, was it Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie play so many times over and over again, and I just absolutely fell to the ground and cried my heart out because I'm like, what the
other side of that is, if you don't even have a guy good as Kirk, you don't even get to that moment where you're flirting with a playoff trip.
Yeah. Definitely. I definitely see. I definitely understand where you're coming from with that one. Man. But we're over the hour mark now, so we're going to get my man Rio up out of here. He says, I always watched you guys because you give out very information informative, and it's accurate. So shout out to my man Rambo. A couple more comments, then we'll get out of here. Shout out to my man West B. Says just subbed you up, Juan. Just subscribe to you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. He says Rio is a dog indeed. My man is a star. So alrighty. Thank you so much for watching today's live stream. As always, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I gotta say this right quick. I feel sorry for you guys that didn't grow up during the glory days in the 80s and early 90s.
And I'm jealous of y'all.
Myself. LOL, man. I had to say that one just because hopefully we're finally going to see some success at some point, whether it's this year, next year, in the future. It seemed like we're headed towards that direction. I'm just praying that we can get back to those 80s and 90s days. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching today's live stream. As always, me and boy Juan Gotti. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 8,000 subscribers. So we greatly appreciate if you can reach that goal as soon as possible. Follow me on Twitch at ChewyIRL. Subscribe to the channel. Rio, any last words that everyone know where they can find you, and give the chat any final words that you had?
Everybody relax. Let Adam Peters, Dan Quinn, and Jayden Daniels cook. It is year one of the rest of our lives. Don't let any of the past nonsense and drama that predated these current people in-house affect how you look at the guys currently on the team. We are on to much brighter days. It's time to get good again, y'all.
Yes, sir. Subscribe to my man Rio Robinson. Link will be down below in the description. Y'all have a great night. See y'all later. As always, me, boy Juan Gotti. Peace.
Ballin' like I'm Deshaun, throw the bomb, G. That's IG, my jersey never seen